Okay, I am Paul Woolsey. I'm out of Dallas, Texas, born and raised in Texas, so I'll say that in my native language. Howdy, y'all. So I'm with JW Power Company. We're a natural gas company. For those of you that are familiar with the state of the industry of natural gas, I humbly accept your condolences. So a little bit about me. I joined the company at the ripe old age of 17 years old back in 1998. I was actually in the accounting department first. That's what I went to school as. I was an accountant for a few years. And, one day the VP came up and he said, "Paul, you're really good at Microsoft Excel. We have an opening in IT we think you'd be a perfect fit for." And I said, "Well, I don't know about that. I really like number crunching. I really like accounting." He said, "Well, it pays a whole lot more." And I said, "I agree. That sounds like a great fit. I think I'll join IT." And so I moved into IT in 2005, and I started off in applications support dealing with the accounting program, ERP. And so from there, I kind of went into project management, process improvement, things like that. And then in 2011, I became the manager of applications. And today, I'm responsible for all the applications and the data support for all of our database administration, development, deployment, everything, the whole smorgasbord. So, accounting first, IT later. So if you guys decide to talk to me later, I can bore you in two different ways, just a forewarning. So with that said, as Mr. Reimer said this morning, he talked about, citizen developers. I'm going the other way with it. We're talking about IT developers and how we have used Caspio at our company to great, great success. So a little bit about JW and my organization. Just forewarning, gets a little bit depressing, because, again, natural gas. But we're a privately held energy company based in Dallas. We began in 1960. We are today the world's largest privately held gas compression company. Now, at our height, we had 7 unique companies with over 120 U.S.-based locations. All of our locations focused on upstream and midstream natural gas. We had very, very little oil. And IT was part of a shared services model. So we had one IT department that kind of serviced and met the needs of all of these different business lines. And then the decline of natural gas. So over the last decade, the natural gas industry has been declining rapidly and still is today. And that has affected the natural gas companies, the smaller mid-level companies like ours, tremendously. Now we have kind of weathered the storm much better than most companies out there, but it's still affected us quite a bit. So natural gas prices have been in decline since 2009. Fell from just over $15 down to a little bit over $1. That's pretty rapid, steep decline there. And, most companies went out of business. This led to a decline, the divestiture of every business line that we had except for one, our original company, which today is, we manufacture and sell natural gas compressors. These are gigantic machines. They essentially suck the gas out of the ground, compress them, shoot them down the pipeline. These can range in size from small machines to filling the size of this room. They're huge, huge, huge. And so we currently only operate about 36 locations today. We had rapid downsize, reductions in force, the whole 9 yards. And our IT department went from 35 employees down to 9. And then after all of that happened, something unexpected happened to JW. We stabilized. We started making money again. We didn't expect that to happen, but then overnight, we realized everybody still needs compression. Whether they're making money or not, they need compressors. We were doing quite well. We started off in 1960 doing that. We knew how to do it very, very well. And so a new kind of challenge hit us that we didn't have. And so for the past few years, the IT department, my department, had been, primarily working on divestitures at that time. We hadn't put much focus in the business. But now, since the dust had settled, we're down to 9 people. Most of those IT guys are operations, infrastructure, things like that. I'm down to 1 senior developer. I'm down to 1 applications analyst and myself. And I've already told you I'm a manager, which means what? I don't do anything, right? So we're faced with a new challenge. How do we keep up with the high demand of custom apps as well as the extensions to third-party apps with a limited pool of resources? And, just because it's one business doesn't mean that they don't want anything. They want everything. And more importantly, how can we do this without blowing up our budget? Because at the end of the day, I could go out and I could hire more developers. I could hire professional services. But everything that we build in-house, we have to maintain. We have to hire more people. It's very, very expensive. What happens if we have another decline in prices? I can't sustain that if I keep building this empire. I've got to figure out something else. So, in other words, how do we remain highly effective while also being sustainable? The hint is, it's really low-code development. That's when we started looking into it. And so, thus began our low-code journey. And we demoed every single no/low-code platform on the entire Gartner Magic Quadrant. We did that last year. I'm telling you guys, I spoke to every single salesman in the world, I felt like, and it was an amazingly pleasurable experience, let me tell you. Ultimately, we decided on Caspio. And that's a whole nother conversation. Again, if you want to talk to me later, remember the boring part. It was the best of everything. Price, bang for the buck, what have you, it delivered everything that we needed, and it was sustainable, cloud-driven, the whole 9 yards. And I'm telling you, I personally demoed every single one of them out there. It was the better part of a year. I built a dummy app and everything out there, OutSystems, QuickBase, Appian, you name it. We purchased a corporate plan in February of 2018, and we deployed our first app the very next month. That may not be typical to you guys. Remember, we are IT. We develop for a living. This stuff just came to us very naturally. We picked it up day one and just started using it and deploying. We have deployed 15 apps in 6 months to 650 users. We have 18 additional apps in the works. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But our key features that we utilize here, and we utilize almost every feature in there, but these are the most important ones, are single sign-on. If you're not using that today, highly encourage you to use it. If you're not using it, you're missing out. We do some very, very cool stuff with this, and we'll get into that in a minute. Box integration. Do we have any Box customers here? Got one? Any? No? Okay. If you do use Box, you may want to talk to me later. We've done some really, really cool stuff with Box. We've actually built a front-end interface with Box using Caspio. We use Box to integrate all of our data. We are a very, very extensive heavy user with triggered actions. External parameters, we use those quite a bit as well. This 15 apps in 6 months, this is actually outdated. I created this slideshow a month ago. We've already deployed 2 more apps since then. So we are just wildly successful with our deployment of Caspio. And so what are the keys to our success at JW? I think that's why they wanted or let us speak today. So maybe you could glean something as to what was our keys to success. Maybe you could take that away. So, keys to successful adoption. I don't know who he is. I didn't put him there. Don't dilly-dally. This stuff is fast, okay? So in the world of traditional development and project management, you have a tendency to take a lazy approach to it. And that is it just comes with the territory. It is what it is, right? You sit down, you go, well, we got to have this analysis meeting and requirements gathering. We got to assign a team. We got to write all this stuff down. We got to form a timeline. Oh, hey, let's have another meeting. Because we just did all that, we got to make sure everybody remembers everything. Every project that you come upon, you just have this feeling that sets in of dread of like, oh, I'm just going to sit here because I know it's this whole thing. You don't have to do that in the world of low code. Going through that whole rigmarole defeats the purpose of low code. Don't dilly-dally. The second you get the requirements from the customer, start working on it. You don't need to sit down and have these meetings and form a team. Just start working on it. If you make a mistake, it's so fast to fix it, you don't have to worry about it. Just start getting in there. Get your hands dirty. Show your progress frequently and ask for input. Now, everybody loves being part of a team. So the second you get your first data page up there, go into your customer's office. Hey, I just emailed you a link. Take a look at it. Is this what you had in mind? Special caveat, every time we do that, yes, it is. Can you also do this? Be careful about that scope creep. Build apps for the platform of use. Traditional development, we would have that mindset of going, well, all of our apps go on SharePoint, everything's going to be on SharePoint, something like that. You don't have to do that with Caspio. If one app makes better sense to be deployed on a mobile app, deploy it that way. Build it that way. If the very next one makes better sense to go on PC, build it that way. Deploy it that way. Because at the end of the day, you're administrating all of these apps from one place. It doesn't matter where its intended output is. The user experience or the administration experience is the same place. So build these things in the place that they're supposed to go. Deliver now, build the frills later. Getting back there. Deliver now, build the frills later. IT psychology is developers like to work on complex stuff. We like to build frills. We like to deliver something cool and awesome. Customers typically don't care about that. They just want something in their hands. So be focused on that. Deliver now. You can go back and style it up or make something cool or do stage 2. Just what John was saying this morning. Small increments. Build something now, add on to it later. Start now. That's the beauty of it. Build apps for the platform of use. Yep. Make it easy. And this is what Chris said. Make it easy. Everything that you build should be with the idea that it should be easy for my users to use. If you send a link and say, hey, test this data page out, and your user goes, I don't know how to use it, you failed. They should be able to get a submit form, fill it out, click submit without ever asking you a question. Quick tip on that, use auto-populated fields whenever possible. So deployment strategies, methodologies, and I apologize, I'm trying to talk 100 miles an hour here. I've got a timer down here. Whew. Okay, manage scale by creating a standalone app for master data. Now, in the IT world, we call this a data warehouse. We're creating a data warehouse inside Caspio. You can create an app that's just called master data. We have done this. The very first thing we did was we took our ERP system and we started dumping out with scripts these CSV files full of this information from our ERP system. And this is master level data. You can see districts, cylinders, counties, cost centers, sites, whatever. This is updated every single night through scheduled actions. We populate this through one app in Caspio called master data. And what that does for us is that it's data that can be reused app to app. So every single app that we build, most of the data is already there, ready to go. Whether it's just, a drop down or what have you, it's already there, it's ready to go. So build your master data, take advantage of that. Using master data allows the data to be centrally managed. So if you need to change or add a cost center or something like that, you can do it one time. It updates all of your apps all at once. It's just best practice. Consider auto-updating these master tables. If you're doing it, use the scheduled task or an API to auto-update these tables. You don't want this stuff manually being, updated. It's just not effective. And then finally, master data allows the standardization across everything, unified dashboards, cross-app reporting. Add all users to master data. So one of the things we did is we took Active Directory, all of our users, HR program, we created a master users table that is updated nightly. And so what that enables us to do is we can create multiple views, limited by criteria, app to app, and create authentications across the board. And so what that does is, as far as security goes, I never have to manage my users. It's one view to rule them all. So whether it be filling something in like a request form, oh, this is requested for Paul Woolsey, and it just fills in the rest of it for you, or even better, if you marry that up with single sign-on, the user clicks the login button, it references that table, and it automatically fills the form out for them. So doing that is beautiful because you set it up one time and you never have to touch it again. It's just that fast. And it's these types of best practices that once you set it up the first time and take advantage of it, it makes your experience that much faster going forward. It's a snowball effect. Every app you build after that just keeps getting faster and faster and faster. So, schedule tasks. We use Box to update our data. You can use Dropbox, Google. Good old FTP, SFTP works. Of course, I'm IT. If the rest of my guys, said FTP, and they'd kill me. Deploy using the best platform for the app. We talked about that a little bit. Single-page mobile apps can be deployed using the direct Caspio URL. You can email this to a user. Say, pull this up on your phone. Click Add to Home Screen. They think that it's a phone app if you format it correctly. They don't know that it's just a web page. You can do that. Do not forget about passing parameters. You can host multiple data pages on a single page. I know a lot of you do that today. Some of you may not. You can use URL redirects from your website to the Caspio data page URL. We do that quite a bit. Just as a really quick way to deploy something, you can go to jwpower.net/aviation. That's our aviation database. But really all that does is redirect to the Caspio data page. And then finally, try creating an HTML data page that has buttons containing links to other data page. Make that your landing page for the entire app. That's what I'm talking about. So, by the way, this is what that looks like. This is a screenshot from my phone. That is a Caspio data page made with HTML. It's responsive, so it will fill up the entire screen. Those are on-click buttons. So if the user goes and they clicks Contact IT, it has an entire directory up there. But those are redirects to other Caspio, data pages. It's just that simple. And so in closing, don't dilly-dally. The stuff is fast. Let's get off our booties and start delivering. Show your work. People love being part of a team. It's a collaborative effort, but watch yourself. Make it easy for the user. Build for the platform of best use. Single sign-on is your friend. If you're not using it today, look into it. It's amazing the things you can do with it. Use master level data. It's just a great practice to have, and once you set it up one time, it makes the rest of your job very easy. Use scheduled tasks to update your data. Use data pages as landing pages. That makes deployment very easy, very slick, especially when combined with styling. And that's it. Thank you, guys.